This article is a subset article under Human Intelligence. For a complete hierarchical list of articles, see the Intelligence Cycle Management Hierarchy. Concepts here also are intimately associated with counterintelligence. This article deals with the what of clandestine HUMINT, and is a prerequisite for the how in the clandestine HUMINT operational techniques article. Clandestine HUMINT is intelligence collected from human sources using clandestine espionage methods. These sources consist of people working in a variety of roles within the intelligence community. Examples include the classic spy, who collects intelligence, couriers and related personnel, who handle an intelligence organization's secure communications, and support personnel, such as access agents, who may arrange the contact between the potential spy and the case officer who recruits them. The recruiter and supervising agent may not necessarily be the same individual. Large espionage networks may be composed of multiple levels of spies, support personnel, and supervisors. Espionage networks are typically organized as a cell system, in which each clandestine operator knows the people in his own cell, perhaps the external case officer, and an emergency method to contact higher levels if the case officer or cell leader is captured, but has no knowledge of people in other cells. Espionage involves a human being obtaining methods, information that is considered secret or confidential without the permission of the holder of the information. Espionage is inherently clandestine, and the legitimate holder of the information may change plans or take other countermeasures once it is known that the information is in unauthorized hands. See the articles such clandestine HUMINT operational techniques and clandestine HUMINT asset recruiting for discussions of the tradecraft used to collect this information. HUMINT is in a constant battle with counterintelligence, and the relationship can become very blurry, as one side tries to turn agents of the other into reporting to the other side. Recruiters can run false flag operations, where a citizen of country A believes they're providing intelligence to country B, when they are actually providing it to country C. Unlike other forms of intelligence collection disciplines, espionage usually involves accessing the place where the desired information is stored, or accessing the people who know the information and will divulge it through some kind of subterfuge. There are exceptions to physical meetings, such as the Oslo Report, or the insistence of Robert Hansen in never meeting the people to whom he was selling information. This article does not cover military units that penetrate deep between enemy lines, but generally in uniform, to conduct special reconnaissance. Such military units can be on the border of the line, in international law, which defines them as spies, if they conduct information in civilian clothes. In some circumstances, the uniformed personnel may act in support to the actual agents, providing communications, transportation, financial, and other support. Yet another discipline is covert operations, where personnel, uniformed or not, may conduct raids, sabotage, assassinations, propaganda, etc. Legal aspects. Black's Law Dictionary defines espionage as gathering, transmitting, or losing information related to the national defence. In the UK, under the 1911 Act, a person commits the offence of spying if he, for any purpose prejudicial to the safety or interests of the state, approaches, inspects, passes over or is in the neighbourhood of, or enters any prohibited place, makes any sketch, plan, model, or note which is calculated to be or might be or is intended to be directly or indirectly useful to an enemy, or obtains, collects, records, or publishes, or communicates to any other person any secret official code word, or password, or any sketch, plan, model, article, or note, or other document which is calculated to be or might be or is intended to be directly or indirectly useful to an enemy. Note: An enemy apparently means a potential enemy, so could theoretically include all foreign governments. The offence of spying covers all such acts committed by any person within Her Majesty's dominions, and such acts committed elsewhere by British officers or subjects. It is not necessary for the person concerned to have been warned beforehand that they were subject to the Official Secrets Act. The 1920 Act creates further offences of doing any act preparatory to spying, or of soliciting, inciting, seeking to persuade, or aiding and abetting any other person to commit spying. The U.S. defines espionage towards itself as the act of obtaining, delivering, transmitting, communicating, or receiving information about the national defense with an intent, or reason to believe, that the information may be used for the injury of the United States or to the advantage of any foreign nation. Espionage is a violation of 18 United States Code 792-798 and Article 106, Uniform Code of Military Justice, Major HUMINT organizations. See List of intelligence agencies for a more complete list. Espionage is usually part of an institutional effort, and the term is most readily associated with state spying on potential or actual enemies, primarily for military purposes. But this has been extended to spying involving corporations, known specifically as industrial espionage. Many nations routinely spy on both their enemies and allies, although they maintain a policy of not making comment on this. In addition to utilizing agencies within a government, many also employ private companies to collect information on their behalf, such as SCG, International Risk and others. Penetrations of foreign targets by people loyal to their own country. Not all clandestine human sources changed their loyalties to the country to which they were born, or owed their first allegiance. In this section we are talking of the classical and actually rare spy, who really is a loyal citizen of country A but obtains information from country B, either through informal means or actually going to work for country B. A special case is of the country B loyalist who controls agents or provides other supporting or managerial functions against country A. Clandestine reporting. Richard Sorge was a Soviet citizen, who posed as a German journalist in Tokyo, to report on Japan back to the Soviet Union. Sorge was eventually caught and executed by the Japanese, who generally honored his bravery, especially in wartime. While a country may need to execute an agent, they sometimes respect them. It is a truism that a live captured spy has more potential value than a dead one, since a live one can still be interrogated, or perhaps turned into a double agent. There have been cases where countries have announced the execution of people who are actually alive. Dangled moles start out being loyal to one country B, but go to work for another service A, reporting back to their original service. Such operations can become infinities of mirrors, as the mole may be detected and the service by which they are employed tries to double them, which may or may not work. One of the best known, and apparently most successful, was the early Soviet recruitment of Kim Philby, who was then dangled to the British Secret Intelligence Service, for whom Philby went to work and rose to high rank. Philby is discussed further below. As far as is known from public sources, the only mole already loyal to a foreign service who went to work for the CIA was Karl Koicha, who actually was loyal to the Czechoslovakian intelligence service while Czechoslovakia was a Soviet satellite state. Koicha became a CIA translator and a good source of information to the Czechs and Soviets. While, as far as is known in public sources, still loyal to his original agency, Koicha was ordered to report to Moscow by Oleg Kalugin, longtime legal resident of the USSR in the US. Kalugin accused Koichi of being a U.S. double agent. Koichi retired from the CIA and went to work in academia, but was subsequently reactivated by the KGB and went to work, part-time, for the CIA. During this period, he was discovered by the FBI, who attempted to double him against the KGB, but the FBI considered him unreliable and eventually arrested him. The arrest was legally tainted, and Koichi was eventually exchanged for Soviet prisoners. Both sides apparently not wanting the affair to be in a public court. The U.S. used Katrina Lung as of Dangled Mole to the PRC, although the true loyalty of Lung, who came to the U.S. on a Taiwanese passport, is not known with certainty. She may have had a long-term allegiance to the PRC, been loyal to the U.S. and then been turned by the PRC, or primarily been loyal to herself.